Hello and welcome to Pop Along RC, the RC car channel dedicated to RC car racing and getting you guys into RC car racing. So, if you have been keeping up with the channel, you'll know that I am all about my Tamiya racing right now. Recently, we've been to Chippenham for the Indoor Iconic Cup. But recently, I bought myself two second-hand cars. I got the M05, which I'm hoping to run at the Outdoor Iconic Cup next year. So, the other car that I got is the M07R. This here is it's the first time I've run an M07 actually. I've seen them at the club quite a bit but never got round to running one myself. This deal came up as a second-hand car and I couldn't resist. So this week, hopefully you've seen the video, I put the Tamiya torque tune motor in, put a fan in there to try and keep it cool, and it's time to find out how it performs on the track. So I headed down to my local club, Leighton Buzzard Model Car Club. They do a great Tuesday night race meet. And currently, the main class down there is the MTCs. They've got two heats of MTCs. They had one heat of touring cars. They had two heats of Tamiya TT01s. In that class, you had the TT01s, the TT02s. And I did message in advance and asked if they'd mind if I could run my M07 in the same class. So the stock motor down there is the Core 21. Didn't have a Core 21, so I put the torque tune motor in, which is a little bit slower than the Core 21 from our experience. They also tend to get warmer, and therefore there's a little bit of drop off towards the second half of the race. So I know there's definitely a little bit more to come from this car simply by putting the Core 21 motor in it. And they'd split us over two heats, and there was only 4 cars in my heat, which was really nice. So I had plenty of space on the track just to get the car around. And do you know what? Considering all I've done is put a new set of wheels on, courtesy of Rochester RC. And remember, if you need to get any wheels, tyres, ESCs, cars, whatever you need to keep your RC habit going, check out Rochester RC, and don't forget to use Popalong RC as your discount code as well for a little bit extra off at the checkout. So as I was saying, the car was going round really nicely. I did feel that I was struggling a little bit with understeer, so I was having to sort of let off and coast a little bit more to try and make the apexes. But for a first round, actually, I was really happy with that. I was quite surprised to actually win the heat as well, which, for a first time out with the car, I cannot complain. On to the second round. Second round was much the same. I was on the hunt for the extra lap though. Currently, I was sitting on a 20 lapper, and I was about 5 seconds off the pace, so I really wanted to get completely clean, keep it consistent, and I was on the hunt for a 21 lapper, which, do you know what, wouldn't have put me far off the pace in the bottom heat of the four-wheel drive MTCs. So as it goes, at the end of qualifying, out of all the TT01s, TT02s, I ended up sitting in second place. So second in the A final, which put me in a bit of a pickle. So let's run some footage of the final, and I'll talk you through exactly why that is. So if you are familiar with the TT01s, they are a shaft driven four-wheel drive car versus the M07, which is a two-wheel drive car, which means from the start I'm going to struggle for grip initially. And I think I'm just going to get jumped coming into the first turn, and that is exactly what happened. Mark dive bombed straight up the inside. I left the door open knowing he was going to do that. So when he went deep into the first turn, I cut back up the inside and managed to get through. But my tyres are cold, I've got very little grip, very little traction, and I cannot compete with the pace of the faster TT01s. All I need to do really is try and stay out of trouble, but it's really difficult to do. I was trying to hold my line, but I've been caught out there and taken out. And do you know what? It's kind of put me a little bit in no man's land now that I've lost my position, but it gives me something to chase now. So down to fourth. The cars around me are definitely quicker, and if we look at the fastest laps that they did, it shows that they are quicker for one lap. What got me my second place was consistency. I think I had my top 10 average and my fastest lap was less than half a second. So really happy with my consistency. So I need to get back to that in this final if I am going to do well at all. But you know what? Flying around the track, holding some pretty good lines, pretty consistent. So I start to push, aiming a little bit tighter at the apexes. But these apexes are not kind. The pop dots we've got are hard wooden pop dots, and if you clip them, you end up either on two wheels or sometimes on your roof. They are quite aggressive. So although I want to go nice and tight, it's not always the best option. And whereas in the qualifying, I was keeping it clean and I wasn't making any mistakes, therefore the consistency was up high. In this final, I really wanted to chase down Tom, so I was pushing, but as a result, I was clipping the odd pop dot and making a few little mistakes. But, do you know what? Considering the start of the race didn't really go to plan, I managed to end up third in the race, and I was only a couple of seconds behind Tom by the end. I was starting to really draw him back in towards the end. So for a first outing for the Tamiya M07R, I'm really pleased. Things that I'd like to do to this car to get it even better. If I was to run this at the MTC Nationals, I definitely think I need to upgrade the gear set in here. So I believe it's not racing, it's 3 Racing do a high speed gear set for this, which will allow me to sort of gear it up a little bit so I can hit some slightly better top end speed on the bigger tracks at the Nationals. Tyre wise, absolutely fine. I think the 24s worked perfectly at Leighton Buzzard because it's a low grip track. Super glue on the sidewalls. Not that I was getting any suggestion that there was any grip roll there, but it's just something I get into the habit of doing. Now, I do need to make a couple of little alterations because I could really do with a little bit more front end grip, get it to sort of dive into the turns a little bit more. But you know what, for a first outing, really happy with that. I will be getting this car out again very soon. What do you think I should do with it? Shall I carry on using this as a club racer, or shall I experiment with it at the Nationals? Pop it in the comments down below. Hopefully you found this video interesting. Like, subscribe, hit the old ding dong bell, and we'll see you again soon.